This is Real News Media TV, coverage you can trust. Please like, share, subscribe, and hit the notification bell. Select all for daily news updates. Alleged lottery scammer waives a right to extradition hearing. A St. James man who has been wanted by the United States since 2019 in connection with a lottery scamming scheme is to be extradited to America to face mail and wire fraud charges. Greg Warren Clark, who is from Montego Bay, on Tuesday waived his right to an extradition hearing and signed the consent form when he appeared in the Kingston and St. Andrew Parish Court. The alleged lottery scammer, who is wanted in Florida, was charged with a conspiracy to commit mail and wire fraud, mail fraud, wire fraud, and international money laundering. The United States Court for the Southern District of Florida in April issued a warrant for Clark's arrest. Attorney-at-law Henry McCurdy represented Clark. Holness defends decision to nominate Johnson Smith as a candidate for Commonwealth Secretary General. Prime Minister Andrew Holness has defended the decision of his Jamaica Labour Party government to put forward Foreign Affairs and Foreign Trade Minister Senator Kamina Johnson-Smith as a candidate for the position of Commonwealth Secretary General. This move by Jamaica comes despite the fact that the incumbent Dominica-born Baroness Patricia Scotland has indicated that she will be standing for re-election in June. Holness's defense in a statement in the House of Representatives on Tuesday followed criticism from Antigua and Barbuda's Prime Minister Gaston Brown, who has warned that Jamaica's decision to put forward a candidate will only serve to divide CARICOM. But Holness is sticking to his position. The Prime Minister told the House that towards the latter part of the initial term of the current Secretary General, several countries, including Jamaica, were approached regarding the possibility of nominating a candidate for the post. Jamaica took the view at that time that whatever the issues that gave impetus to members seeking alternative candidates, the first order of response would be to resolve with a dialogue to avoid disruption, said Holness. He argued that it was clear that the impetus to seek an alternative candidate strongly persists, noting that since then, Kenya nominated a candidate before withdrawing, with the tiny territory of Tuvalu, population less than 12,000, formally launching its candidature in London on Tuesday. It is quite possible that others could emerge, Holness noted. We can conclude that the first term of the incumbent has left room for challenge, he added. According to the Prime Minister, Jamaica has had in recent weeks to consider the state of affairs and the future of the Commonwealth, in conjunction with the incredibly strong encouragement and support to put forward a candidate, and specifically in the person of Minister Johnson Smith. Holness said her ministerial achievements in international affairs are well known within and beyond the Commonwealth. He told the House that he was confident in Johnson Smith's ability to play that leadership role, and as such considered it important to engage in a process of consultation starting with the colleagues in CARICOM. He explained that the consultations are aimed at seeking a better understanding of their thinking about the leadership of the organization, as well as their views on Johnson Smith's possible candidature. He said that with a very limited exception, the responses of the heads of government and heads of state, as well as foreign ministers with whom we engaged across the region, have been extremely encouraging. Holness said several have voluntarily committed to seek support for the candidature of Johnson Smith from their regional colleagues. On the strength of that feedback, and more importantly, my personal knowledge of the minister's unwavering commitment to public service in the interest of global development, we took a sovereign decision to put forward a candidate that has demonstrated the skill, energy, and the competence to bring unity, accountability, and focus to the leadership of the Secretariat and the wider Commonwealth family, Holness stated. He noted that CARICOM heads of government will meet on Wednesday to revisit the issue, which has been on the agenda of several meetings since 2020. The Prime Minister also argued that heads are aware that there has never been a unanimous position of support for the incumbent. He highlighted that some member states have previously raised the question of whether an alternative Caribbean candidate should be identified. It is never Jamaica's intention to seek to divide our CARICOM family, Holness insisted, while noting that the established processes for dialogue and communication will be the only channels that Jamaica will employ in these matters. At the end of their March 1-2 intersessional summit held in Belize, CARICOM leaders issued a communique in which they expressed their overwhelming support for the re-election of Baroness Patricia Scotland as the Secretary General of the Commonwealth. Scotland was elected to the post of the Commonwealth Heads of Government meeting in Malta in 2015 and is up for re-election during the June 20-25 Commonwealth Summit in Kigali, Rwanda. Meanwhile, Brown, who has been critical of Jamaica's decision, describing it as a monumental error, said he is hoping this matter will be resolved amicably. I know that there is a push now to have a meeting early this week, and hopefully we can have a consensus and we can dissuade Jamaica from proceeding on this particular issue and for us to support Baroness Scotland, he said. I think we have a moral obligation to support her, to protect her, and to stand in solidarity with her, especially considering that there are entities and individuals outside of the region who are trying to emasculate her. We have to protect our own. Brown said he has spoken with wholeness on the issue. He cautioned that the decision to break the CARICOM consensus and to present Johnson Smith as a candidate will only serve to divide CARICOM. Meanwhile, Dominica has called on the 54-member Commonwealth grouping to re-elect Scotland, the second Secretary General from the Caribbean and the first woman to hold the post. Prime Minister Roosevelt Sherritt, in a letter to Commonwealth governments, recalled that Scotland had a mandate to reform the Commonwealth Secretariat and to advocate and to be a voice for those countries without a voice. In her first term, she delivered on reform and on change. She delivered on partnerships and innovation for the benefit of our countries. She delivered on good offices and democracy. She successfully braved the challenges of the climate crisis and of the COVID-19 pandemic and has laid a solid foundation to look at solutions for our countries in the future, Sherritt said in his March 23 letter, a copy of which was obtained by the Caribbean Media Corporation. Cops seized US $300,000 worth of ganja in Westmoreland, 2 men detained. 2 men were arrested following the seizure of more than 300 pounds of ganja in White House, Westmoreland on Sunday. The drugs, which have a street value of approximately US $300,000, were found packaged and ready for export. Police have declined to release the names of the men as they have not been charged. It is reported that members of the Jamaica Constabulary Force Specialized Operations Branch were conducting an operation in White House when the drugs were found. Police said about 10:30 p.m., members of the unit searched a shed located on the beach and found the drugs compressed and packaged. Members of the JCF Narcotics Division were called in and the drugs seized. The 2 men were detained on reasonable suspicion of breaches of the Dangerous Drugs Act. The police believe the drug was awaiting shipment abroad as part of the illegal drug trade. Tubby Diamond's killing directly linked to Sunday criminal activity, police confirm. Commissioner of Police Major General Anthony Anderson has confirmed that the killing of reggae artist Tubby Diamond, the lead singer of the Mighty Diamonds, is directly linked to his son, who is in custody for murder. The 67-year-old musician, whose given name is Donald Shaw, and another man identified as Owen Beckford, were killed when a gunman opened fire on a group outside a shop on McKinley Crescent in St. Andrew last Tuesday night. 2 other men and a woman were wounded in the attack. Speaking Tuesday afternoon during the Jamaica Constabulary Force's monthly media briefing, General Anderson expressed a concern that criminals are targeting people related to gunmen. Tubby Diamond, he said, was one such victim, as one of his sons is a known violence producer, currently detained on a murder charge. The police are, however, tight-lipped on the investigation into the shooting which led to the musician's death. Asked whether a suspect has been identified in relation to the deadly incident, Fitz Bailey, Deputy Commissioner of Police in charge of crime, said a person of interest is in custody. The investigation is advancing. I don't want to comment much further on that, he explained.
We saw this play out in the unfortunate shooting of 5 persons, 2 of whom died, including reggae icon Donald Tubby Diamond Shaw, in Olympic Gardens on March the 29th. The very sad story is that one of his sons is a known violence producer, currently detained on a murder charge, and preliminary investigations suggest that the death of Tubby Diamond was directly related to the activities of his son.
More school resource officers deployed to address the violence. Police Commissioner Major General Anthony Anderson says the Jamaica Constabulary Force has trained and deployed an additional 55 school resource officers to help deal with violence. Since schools reopened for face-to-face classes, there have been several violent incidents among students, some of which the police commissioner said are gang conflicts playing out in schools and on the streets. To address the challenge, particularly in Police Area 1, the JCF has moved to make more school resource officers available. We don't intend to put police officers in every school, and we shouldn't have to, but it is important to train more of our members to support and help school administrators deal with the challenges of violence that they face, he said. He was speaking at yesterday's monthly JCF press conference. Anderson added that the JCF will also be seeking to improve the quality and the volume of youth mentorship in communities across Jamaica. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe, and hit the notification bell. Select all for daily news updates.